Hello and a warm welcome back to the WenDirk Cast. We're your hosts, of course, Jimbo and Calvinator. We'll be discussing the latest MFL update, the big update, no transfers, massive developments, and of course so much more that has gone on over the last week or so. One important note, none of what we chat out is financial advice. Do your own scouting or hire a director of Metaverse football. A slightly different schedule today. So we usually record on a Sunday, but this is actually Wednesday, the 26th of February. So if anything happens between now and when the podcast's uploaded, we don't know. That's in the future. We can't tell. But oh boy, have we got a great episode today. Calva, who have we got and what are we talking about if people cannot already guess?
Yeah, of course, there's only one thing we can talk about, and that is the massive Season 4 changes that are coming, the massive update that's gonna totally, I would say, overhaul the whole game with rarity, rewards, player supply, retirement, like everything is being changed a little bit. And there's, I think, a lot to talk about, and who is, like, say, there can be no better guest than the CEO himself, Matt, to explain that. So welcome, Matt, back to the pod. This is like your, I think, third or fourth time. Do you remember?
At least a third.
At least.
Yeah, I think third, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and usually it is when something big happens. Like Season 1, we talked last time, and over Season 4, there's massive changes. So yeah, we're gonna break them all down in this episode. Not the usual updates, no splashes of the week. Although Dio made a giant splash yesterday, but we it's not the splash of the week. So first we're going to talk about that update, and we also have a little Q&A. Some people have other questions. Usually they start with when. So when this, when that. So we'll also answer them later. But yeah, first about the big update. Maybe the first question, Matt, for you is like, how do you feel about it actually?
No, to be honest, well, first, thanks for having me. Always happy to be on the pod and to chat with you guys. It's always great to hear the pod, so even better to be on it. And no, yeah, to be honest, the reception has been fantastic. Super happy with the community feedback. I think overall the perception was good. I think it was an update that we had in our mind for several months. I would say to do this kind of change for the rarity, for the player distribution, etc. So there were some stuff that we wanted to do. So I think we put a lot of thought in it. Try to do something that would work for MFL as a company, to have something more sustainable, but also super user friendly and super community friendly. I think it's something very good for the community. The update that we announced. So yeah, basically super happy about the reception and about the feedback from the community.
Yeah, I think the overall reception has been very good. And I will admit, even from my part, some of us could have expected to have changes in rewards and that piece, because, you mentioned it and it's been a heavy topic within the community for the last maybe season and a half, or ever since the end of Season 1, really. So people could have expected that, but then there's some other bits in there, like the two new rarities, the reshaping of player generation, that sort of piece, which was like, oh wow, that sort of caught a lot of people off guard, but it's still been really well received. So I think, yeah, you've done my overall comment, I think I tweeted about initially, is very sort of forward thinking, forward planning from MFL, whilst addressing some of the sort of more concerning issues right now. So you've addressed current issues and solved them, rewards, some of the multi-contract pieces, which may be insignificant, but from a user perspective are really great, whilst also looking into your future as a company and sustainability, which ultimately means that we can all play the game that we know and love for as long as possible.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it was great. We also listened a lot to the community feedback. I think that was the biggest concern that we've seen also regarding the reward was regarding the distribution of the rewards. Like when you go into there was not enough incentive to get promoted and to go to the league above. And so that was great to have all this feedback and to change that to make it more aligned with what the community wants, and that was something possible on our side. So yeah, definitely was great to change that.
Yeah. So Jimbo and I thought we can break it down maybe bit by bit, as you wrote in the amazing blog posts on Medium. I always recommend people to read them.
Yeah, that's Luca, our genius, that is behind all the writing part, and he's excellent at writing. So yeah, I'm not good at that, so it helps me a lot.
Yes, no, I think you did a great job explaining it, and it's very like organized and structured. So we're kind of following the same structure here, and then we can go over each change individually and ask you some questions about it. So of course the first one you talked about in that post is the 2 new rarities. You have limited players now 55 to 64, and ultimate from 95 and up to 99, because that's the highest. First question is probably, why did you decide to introduce 2 new rarities?
So at first, the main concern was to introduce more granularity in the way players were presented, and especially what we were putting in packs, etc. At the moment, when we were talking about a common player, there was a lot of differences in prices, in range, overall range, etc. So I think it was ranging from 38 or 35, something like that, to 64. So that was a huge range. So we wanted to reduce that range and to create a new rarity there. So the one that we created, that is the limited. And so it gives us more, I think it creates more granularity into what we can build with the pack. For example, if we decide to have a pack that could be with a very low price, like let's say $5 or something like that, I think before it was complex, because like putting 2 commons that you can have like a very high commons, then the average price of a common was $4-5. So if you put 2, then it's a bit complex, etc. So yeah, that's really why we wanted to do that. At first, it was this limited, this rarity that we wanted to add, and then after that, when we thought about a bit more about it, we were like, we are doing one change, let's do another one, and we really wanted to bring more prestige, more exclusivity to the top end player, and so having a new rarity at the top end to really show this to give more prestige to this player was the reason why we added this ultimate rarity at the top, and making sure that, and also we thought it was super cool to have this that this kind of player, this ultimate player, are not generated at all. You know, we don't generate them. They can only be kind of like, they can only reach this rarity by progressing through player development, basically.
Yeah, I really like that is like super special, because legendary, because of progression, like that group grows, right? But now with having those really elite, super special ultimate, and it also becomes like really superstars with their own stories almost, and lore around it. So I really like it.
I do think that the graphic for the ultimate as well, like the color scheme you've got for that card, looks unreal as well. So I think I'm looking at the purple now and I'm going, the purple doesn't look that high end anymore, because you've got the black and the gold trim. Obviously that's the reason why it's the ultimate. And yeah, if you have like a composition of a team, and like Meta Mercenaries with their 95, 96 rated, and you're looking there and you just see those black cards, that's
exactly. If it's like a full black team then or something, then it's gonna look
and
intimidating.
Having it as purely progression, I think, like you said in the Medium article, like, truly exclusive, and you can't, unless you buy one off the marketplace, you can't pack one, you can't get lucky. It's progression only, which is really great.
Yeah, and then of course we have to address the elephant in the room. There was some discussion about the name.
the biggest discussion.
The biggest discussion, and also Sorare Andy asked on Twitter about this name. Like, there was some discussion. So to just ask you and then get over with it. Why the name Limited? And you're gonna keep it, right? But you understand some people.
The idea is to keep it and to leave it like that. I understand that the feedback and for naming, for colors, I mean, it's all perception, and it's really based on the people taste, and so I mean, we can have infinite debate and discussion on that. I understand the fact that like some people were saying that common should be followed by uncommon, which makes sense and which I understand. We didn't do that because we wanted to avoid to have too much changes. Like so, if you start to have now the commons that we will switch, etc. So we didn't want to make too much changes. What we just wanted is to have like a new rarity that would be we will be add, but we still wanted the common rarity to be the lowest because we think it's by the name, by the color, it's still something that doesn't show a lot of value. So that's basically why we decided to go with this name and this color. For the name, we looked a bit more. We looked around what can be. What could be the possibilities? We tried to do some research to list some possible names. For the top one, Ultimate came like really rapidly. I think that's something that's used in FIFA. NBA Top Shot also has that. I mean, there's a lot of games like that have Ultimate tiers. So that was pretty straightforward. And then for the limited, it was. We had to find a name. I think it was also we also have a huge Sorare player base, so I think it was kind of referring to also a low tier kind of. So for us that was making sense, and yeah, so that's how we decided. And we also think that it's important. It's something visual. It's really nice, but in the end, what really matters more is the overall, because it's what's really reflect the quality of the player and the overall, and of course the different attributes of the player with their shooting, passing, etc.
Yeah. No, people get used to it anyway, and you still see the overall, so you know how good like you don't need to depend on the color, right? It's just a category. So
yeah,
I think people will get used to it, but it was a little bit of a discussion, and we had to talk about it, of course.
Yeah, normal. It's good also that I like when this kind of that was the main debate from the update, one of the main debate from the update, and it's cool to see that basically all the other points were not like a real topic of discussion. It seems that it was pretty much like liked, and when the focus is on the naming or the color, I mean it's. If for every update that we have in the future, it's always the case, I sign directly.
Yeah, like if you could have picked a discussion, this would have been that discussion.
100%. I take it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's move on to the next big thing is about the player generation, so which was also going to be reshaped. So the average player overall will drop from 62 to 57. Also, there will be an older starting age and an earlier retiring age for all the newly generated players. And also rare players will become more scarce, like 3 times more scarce. So there's a big overhaul of the scarcity, and that, like better players will be more scarce in short. Can you tell us a bit about why this decision was made?
But there was more and more there was different reasons why we went that way. First, it was like with the current distribution that we had, we would see like a lot more rare into a lot of or rare or legendaries into a lot of the lower division. I think it would create. So we wanted to change that a bit by reducing the number of the percentage of rare, so that would avoid to have too much rare in the lowest division. That was one reason. The other reason was also to kind of keep and provide more value to the current user base, to the current community that owns assets by making them more rare. So I think it was really something in favor of the community, of our holders, of our players, etc. So something that we wanted to do basically. So yeah, that's basically the main reason. Also having this new rarity, we had to rethink about how the distribution works. So that was a kind of a global a global thought, and I think that was making sense to change it at the moment with this introduction of new rarity.
Yeah. Do you have sort of like because a lot of these changes, sort of some like the rarity distribution and pieces like that, you won't really see the effects of them for, I don't know, my guess might be like 8-9 seasons until we see those really truly come to effect. Is that sort of like timelines that you have in mind, or because obviously those changes now coming in a couple of weeks time won't impact, say, like league distributions or rare strengths for a good couple of seasons? Is that sort of something you've considered when making these changes as well?
Yeah, I think it will. The changes won't, like I think the changes on the market, the price dynamic won't change that from one day to the other due to this change. I think it will take time, but in the end we will see, like in the future, like while we move and like while players retire, etc., we will see that, for example, the rare or the legendary are more scarce than what they were previously.
Yeah.
So it's hard to really estimate like how long it will take. What is sure is that from season 4 it will have an effect, because the player that we will generate, there will be compared to the let's say if we generate 2,000 players, then there will be now there will be let me get there will be 80 rare, if I do the calculation right. 4% of 2,000, is that right? Yeah, it's right.
Yeah.
Compared to previously, where there would have been like 200.
So yeah, 10%, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that's also a change that will maybe the effect won't be very noticeable for super soon, but in the end it will have an impact, and yeah, that's something I want.
And I might be jumping the gun here with a question later on, but I think it's worth asking it here as well. So, when, say, you mint 2,000 players, is that purely from a pack drop perspective, or say like reward packs, for example? If more than 80 get purchased of rare, and you want reward packs to always be present for players or users to be able to get, right, because it's a reward for them playing the game and earning the MFL. How does that look then?
But the idea is that really it impacts the pack drop, and not too much the reward, because usually what we do is that the idea with the rewards is that to leave it like a free market, like that anyone can purchase basically what they want. We try to have like the kind of an unlimited supply of each rarity tier for the rewards, which actually is not unlimited, because there is the limit of MFL distributed, of course. So there cannot be hundreds of thousands of players that are distributed. But what we want is that what we think also is cool is that you can choose what you want to buy, and then it can also create some market correction from there. So, for example, if there is, I think we saw it in season 3 or even season 2. The uncommon players were super valuable compared to the other pack, and so we saw a lot of uncommon and also common. I think it's make things that both I don't know how many
like 200 something, at least 200,
so,
and he spent like 12 hours opening them and in a big spreadsheet recorded everything. Fair play to him, man. It's a lot of dedication.
And so yeah, I think it's really a smart move, and that's also why it creates another strategical layer to the game, like which rewards do you want to take. If you just take commons, maybe you won't. It will be hard to stay competitive to your team. So do you want to do that? But maybe you can also sell them more on the marketplace. So it's all about balance and everybody finding his own strategy. So I think we like it like that. But the idea is really to have this ratio more for the pack drops.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good answer. I think maybe some people were not concerned, but had the idea, well, if it's only 4% for rares, could everyone just buy a rare reward pack and basically just fluctuate that and increase the rare? But I guess, yeah, that's a good answer to have. And another question I have, which is maybe, I've said this quite a bit actually, is that with these effects coming to these changes coming into effect beginning of season 4, with the average overall of a player dropping, or the average, more so with the average retirement age, not so much the mint overall. Will there be like an identifier apart from the ID, unless you're going to make us remember 77848 is the last player who has this retirement age, and we know that on the side of the cards it does say like Series 1. Will there sort of be a little piece to tell users that this player in theory has a lower retirement age on average, or is that something that you expect us as users to try and figure out as well for the savvy ones? Or do you not see it as much of a change that it requires something like that in the first place?
Yeah, that's more that I think it's of course it's a change, it's a difference, but it's not a drastic one, and so I don't think it will be visible. I think it's in the end it could be much more confusing for new users, for users that don't know what it is. Like, okay, so what I need to understand this. So what is, for example, what is this symbol? So now I need to understand the changes. So I need to go on the blog post. Then I need to understand what was before. So I need to go on the white paper, maybe to find the previous version of the white paper. So then it creates a lot of friction that we don't want new users to have. We want them to join, to understand the game as it is currently. And maybe they've packed something like a player that was from the previous distribution that will have a higher longevity or something like that. But then it's not a big deal basically. So
yeah, it's more like a nice bonus for the community right now. So
yeah.
Right, in the long run, a bit more value, and also your players will have a longer career right now. And then for new people who join, shorter. Yeah, but shorter.
And I think for something that maybe hasn't been seen from the community is that due to this change that we are doing on the age and the longevity, that's also what allows us to increase the reward. So that's this plus also the fact that the market has changed, the dynamic has changed, the competition are also more competitive. We see like better quality player in the different leagues, etc. But this change to overall to age and to longevity is what allows us to increase the reward, and so in the end we increase the reward due to this change. But for all the current users that have players with a longer lifespan, basically, they will benefit from improved reward. So in the end, it's also a big bonus for that, and I think that also rewards the early adopter, as we've always done before. Like when we were having the previous drop, they were like better players in the packs, etc. So that's always something that we try to do, also to reward the ones that were with us since the beginning, etc.
Yeah, because on average, that current player is going to have an extra 2 seasons on average before they retire. You're not chill. I take this from Hatton, and in the Ramble podcast, I listened to it on the way here, on the way back from work. You're not changing that retirement age. They can still retire at 42. Just the average is changing, which for most people it won't even be a concern, because it's something you may you look at a player's age and you sort of mentally factor it anyway. It's not a drastic change. It's just
and it doesn't change like retroactively for the player you own also. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like what you bought, you still have the same condition at the time you purchase it. It's just that for the future player generation that it will change.
Everyone will be in the same boat from season 4 with the players, and everyone's in the same boat with the players they currently own. So it makes no difference to if you start now or if you start to post rollover day, basically.
Yeah. All right, you already just touched upon this rewards and the prize pool. So yesterday I was making the video and trying to understand this, but maybe you can better explain this total economic impact. And it sounded like a magic formula that you guys came up with to calculate the whole prize pool based on how many clubs participate and like the market pricing and the age, and right. So and then you take kind of 90% of that is for the rewards, and I guess 10% is kind of your cuts, right? Can you maybe explain that a little bit more, like in simple words?
Explain like I'm five.
And
maybe also like how that is a bit more sustainable, maybe like then.
So basically, it's what we kind of use a similar methodology to what we were doing previously, but previously we were not taking into account the age of the player because players were not aging, etc. So now we've introduced the age of the player in our model, and so the idea is to have a model based on the market price and the age, the overall, etc. That will basically give us the price in MFL of every player based on their age and their overall, and then we take all the players that participate into competition, and that gives us kind of the prize pool that we can give per season. Of course, we have to divide that by the lifespan of the average lifespan of players to get to give the number of rewards that we can provide. And then from that, as we always said, like, we want this supply to be and that's now the word that I struggle to say, but deflationary.
Yeah, there you go. Deflationary.
Yeah. Nowadays we know more about inflation, but deflation is also deflationary.
Yeah, and so because I think that's the way to make it sustainable. That's how we can keep we can keep as a company generating revenue without like counting on new users. It's something super important for us. Of course, we plan to grow, we plan to have new users, but we want that the game to be sustainable with a set number of players. So that's really our focus since day one. So that's why we don't give like 100% of the rewards, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to sell new packs, because the teams could be just like replenished like with what they got, etc. So we need to still like have like more retirements than new players that enter in the market with rewards, and for us to sell them via pack drops. So that's basically what we did. We review, like, of course, like the season 1, season 2, season 3, there was a lot of market dynamics changes, because of course it was the first really competitive season with the aging, with the progression, etc. So it has changed a lot of stuff. And so we needed to take that into consideration. So that's why we changed the kind of the model. It's pretty similar, and also the difference that compared to what we did before. Before, we were really trying to provide the rewards per division and per league based on the composition of each league and each division. So we were splitting basically we were looking at each division, what was the prize pool that we could get, that we could provide based on the players that were playing in this division. But now we changed that a bit to have it more like a structure that is created by us. And so that's why we have introduced the fact that each division will get 4% more than the previous than the division below, which creates which means that basically each league will have 2.08 times more rewards than the previous one. So that's a bit of the change, and we think that this change was needed to be able to flatten a bit more the rewards, to make sure that you get more if you go to the. Oops, sorry, I have a call, so I don't know if you still hear me.
Yeah, we can still hear you. Yeah. I was going to ask a quick question on the model, and on sort of that model for the prize pool calculations, and I'm glad you sort of broke it down a little bit more, because on the Ramble pod, David SR Monkey was like, I was reading it, and then the average career length, and he was like, nah. He read it like a million times, still could understand it. So I'm glad you got a little bit more of an insight. But based on that knowledge, is it something that we can expect rewards to change season on season then? Or is it more of a, every 4 years it gets reviewed? Will there be like a frequency of season or rewards being reviewed? Sorry, lots of R's. Rewards being reviewed each season, or is, how do you plan on that?
Yeah, probably not every season, because otherwise it's a lot of change to communicate. It's a lot of work to do on our side, etc. And I don't think like from one season to another there's massive changes. But yeah, definitely, I think that's really something that we always want to have dynamic rewards to accommodate to the market dynamic, to the to community feedback, of course, to the change of prices, to the competitiveness also of the leagues, etc. So that's definitely some stuff that we can adjust if we see that the model needs some updates. That's always how we operate, and we try to be very agile and to adjust based on feedback. And of course also, we love to hear about to listen to feedback and to hear about what the community has to say, but we are always thinking also as a global, as a sustainable model. Does it work for us? Does it work for the community as a whole? Does it work for the game to be sustainable? It's not just like one. We try to have like the global overview and the global picture there.
Yeah, it's probably worth then we move on to the new league and cup reward distributions. I think probably the highlight, obviously you mentioned the 40% increase in rewards, but the different structure will definitely be welcomed by majority, if not all, users. Do you mind giving a bit more insight into what led to the shift towards more rewards being towards leagues than compared to cups? 75% versus 25%, whereas it was previously 70-30.
Yeah, so for this change, like basically to change like from 70 to 30%, I think it's a minor change. It's not a drastic change here, but we wanted like most of the matches that you play during a season are from the league. We think it's really the major competition, the main competition that you play, so the most prestigious one, etc. So we really wanted to reflect that, and so that's why we redistribute and reallocate a bit more rewards to this competition. Another thing also that's it's a bit more minor, but something that is also important is that I think a lot of people, when they're trying to assess sustainability of the game, they kind of forget to take the cup into account. So sometimes they look at the league, they say, yeah, can I be sustainable with that? But that was just 70%. So now it's 75%. So it's a bit more like it creates a bit more. When you look at it, you see a bit more like the sustainability. Still, it's important to include the cup for that. But yeah, that was a bit this reasoning behind. No, just something that I don't know if I can, or you want to ask me a question, but I think also to regarding the change of the fact that we flattened a bit the reward. It was really what made us want to do this change was really the fact that we listened to the community and we really saw that was something super important. It was mentioned a lot when we released our first model. We saw a lot of people talking about it. Then we saw it again and again in multiple conversations, and it was not just one or two feedback like that. It seems that there was kind of a consensus inside the community. So yeah, that's really why when we reworked on this model, we said, yeah, we have to really take this into consideration and to see what's possible to be done.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell the story one more time, and Matt, you would have heard this just before we started, but for the listeners, if you listen to last episode, we had 408 on the pod. If you've not listened to it, definitely go recommend it while we talk about the state of MFL on there. And off air, he then said, Calva, Jimbo, what are your thoughts on like the rewards at the moment and how they should be changed and stuff? And we had a little smile sort of thing. Because we were seeing what some of the changes were going to be and knowing what was coming up, sort of thing. And so it's even it's really interesting, Matt, you mentioning that then, and literally the day before we were still being asked what are our thoughts on rewards. So, and I completely agree with you, and we know it has been maybe since the beginning of season one, it has been maybe not since the beginning, but since the playoffs kicked in season one, that's when it became more popular. The sort of uproar about the rewards. So to sort of, pardon the pun, flatten that argument or that that community uproar, I think you've done really well. And I think some people might go, the ice rewards have been reduced, like the upper ice, but I think the lower ice have been increased. But then they're relative to sort of like some of the packs you can get, and maybe for newer users or just any users, they might look at, is it better to maybe start in a slightly further up division now, because even if I finish, say, second bottom in it, I'm still getting more than first in the division below. So you can, and maybe that changes a bit if people have they don't mind putting a bit of money into the game and starting quite strong. Maybe it reduces the strength level in, say, the lower divisions, where people may get a bit unhappy because they're always in a league which has someone who's 150 overall better, where there should be a couple above, but now there's the incentive to actually go up a couple.
Yeah, I really think that this main update, like the two things you also wrote, is like to make a game more sustainable and more competitive, and have more the spirit of competition and sportsmanship. And just, for every football fan, like teams who don't want to promote makes no sense. It just hurts, if you have people who are flunking their promotion chances. And the same, also with like just stacking if you have the money and the budget, then to just buy an ice team and do like kind of a Wrexham run or whatever. And now you have way more incentive to also start out higher in stone or iron straight away, and not get stuck in ice and stack. So it really increases this competitive spirit. And indeed, everyone was asking about it, so it's really great that it's finally here, and now no one will, stop from being promoted or like kind of throw their chances away. So. That you never see IRL, right? That's totally unrealistic.
Of course.
Yeah, but I do like the fact it's not truly, if you finish bottom, you do earn a little bit less than first. If you've gone bottom of the league,
fair
you've truly
enough,
stunk out the league. I think that's completely fair enough. You can't expect to finish bottom and earn more than the top of division below. So
and also it rewards a lot the one that finish first, getting you like more MFL to get ready for the tougher competition that is going to face in the new division. So I think that makes a lot of sense. And when I finally like found this model and it was super cool to see, like, I think there was Ambranon, there was Fragioco, there was Bugs for Life, etc. A lot of these guys that also provided some model, and I could use that as a base, compare them, like starting to work on my own on the side. But it was super helpful also to have this, to see to grasp a bit more what the community was, because sometimes when you have a lot of talk about we should do that, we should do this, it's also good to have like stuff backed by data, stuff backed by figures, and so big shout out to them for creating this spreadsheet and putting the time and the effort in that, because it was also a big help for me. So thanks
that's the great community we have. That's the great
community
we have.
Community legends, shout out to them.
And
so about rewards and the cup, there's also a new thing that sparked a little bit of discussion, like the cup wins, that you now get MFL for each cup win. I really like it personally, and I think it also reflects a bit, like Champions League, where teams also get quite a big bonus if they win in a group stage match in the Champions League. What made you decide on this?
But I remember seeing the idea. I think it was I remember from Fragioco, but recently Fragioco said to me that Ambranon also mentioned it. So and I really liked the idea. I remember that we did that also during the Euro last year. I think we didn't do it the first time because it was a bit simpler for us, etc. And now that we were a bit more advanced in the project, we had done more stuff, it was easier for us to focus on that. I also like the fact that it mimics a bit more the Champions League. To be honest, I really studied the Champions League prize pool distribution to really try to have something similar to it. And in the end, I don't think it changed a lot of stuff in terms of reward. You still get probably for reaching the knockout stage, you probably, in most cases, will earn as many, maybe even a bit more MFL points by reaching the knockout stage, because if you reach the knockout stage, it means that you have some games that you won. You play 6 matches, so of course you will need to win. Maybe there are some rare cases where if you just draw, or even like you can manage to qualify, but that's super rare case, edge case that are like super like that are not really frequent. So yeah, I think overall that's why we decided to make it, and also the fact that it creates like more competition. Like every game matters. For some people, like if you play in a low division, like being in the winning a match can get you a couple hundred more MFL, so that can change, that can allow you to get a pack more, or like getting a higher rarity pack. So I think that can change a lot of things, and that avoids also to have in the end of the competition where everything is already played, but to have like people that don't really want to win, that can prevent that also.
Yeah. No, it's pose new questions. A lot of people rest their players for the last cup match because they're already qualified or they're already out, and now you still have something to play for, so it keeps it more competitive.
I think some people will continue to rest their player, and that's totally normal. I mean, it's real life. It's the same in real life. You rotate your player. You want to rest them, etc. You pick your matches, but at least it just creates an additional nudge to make you want to win.
Yeah. I know I'll probably still continue to rotate some players, but but that might be because I know I've qualified, but I know I need to get that league position as well. So I've got my knockout stage, certified. But I know I asked you this question, Matt, off air, and I think it's probably worth just quickly highlighting it. I've seen a couple of people say, "Oh, wouldn't it be great if MFL for winning games in the cup could be rewarded sort of after the game, so for new users could have an impact," because that's a topic we've seen quite often, is your new users have to wait a season. There's that lag between them actually earning their first MFL, whether to chuck someone in dev jail or whatever. The reason that can't work is because of the contract clauses, such as the minimum appearances, right? That's fundamentally the reason why that can't happen.
Yeah, definitely. That's why we can ideally at first we wanted to give and to provide the MFL right after the match, so that would be perfect, etc. But due to this clause that is based on the number of match played by the player at the end of the season, we don't really know the percentage of revenue share, so that would make it a bit harder and more complex to do it. Yeah.
No, it's hard. Then you can go into debt or something. Now you have to pay it back.
You can go into debt, or technically speaking, I think that could be possible, because we could calculate like how much you would earn with the last, if you finish last in your league, and take that as an advance or something like that. But then it becomes too.
No, imagine you have MFL debt. Got to pay off the debt.
I want to start MFL Central Bank. You can loan money.
It will be like when real clubs have to sell players and can't bring in players because they need to pay off the owner's debt that they've loaded onto the club, and selling the club for like £1 because it's got 60,000 MFL debt behind it or something like that. Yeah, let's not get into that.
Maybe later.
Yeah, I had another little question myself. There's also been some talk about maybe adding a little bit more other, ways to win MFL, such as for player trophies that you get a little bit MFL. Or have you thought about that as some other incentives to make it a bit more fun and competitive, or not really?
Yeah, for the trophies. I've heard this suggestion, etc., and I liked it. I found it nice, but we decided not to do it. I think if we were to do it at some point, I would say it would be really minimal reward, and that would be just for example, that would be the same rewards between between divisions. Like for example, it would be like you got 100 MFL or 200 MFL, and no matter the division, you get the same, because I don't want it to start to be like a real incentive that people chase, etc. I prefer that it's something a nice trophy. So at the moment, it's how we see it. It's a nice trophy. It's something that you like to receive because it's fun, because it's rewarding, because it's something that you can showcase, etc. And we don't want to really make it really appealing due to the MFL reward. So that's why for the moment we haven't decided to go that way. That could change in the future, but to be honest, it's not something that is a priority for us, I would say.
I've got one really quick one before we move on, because you mentioned about trophies. Have you ever thought about, for club trophies, bringing back the engraving?
Yeah.
For season 1, because that's one of my biggest pride and joys of the Wyverns, is that season 1, Wents and Wyverns, Iron Division, whatever. And if it was only just for clubs, having that, I'd love it. Having the engraving, it just gives that more valuable connection to it. Ever thought about bringing them back again? Or is it just too much effort for what it's worth?
We stopped it because it was really a lot of effort. It was it took a lot of time, etc. And at some point you have to prioritize and decide where you want to go. I think recently, like Jan talked about it and said that maybe he has found another methods that could make it easier, etc. So maybe at some point it will be.
Anything is possible. Anything is possible.
Yeah, anything is possible. It's Jan will wake up one morning and we'll decide.
By the time
to do
we
it.
finish recording today, he'll have already said, "You'll get an inbox in your email. Go, I've already figured it out, boss. I figured it out."
Could be.
No, he doesn't call me boss. I wish he was, but
I thought of that. I was actually no, it's probably not boss, but it's not boss, is it? It's not.
That's a nice suggestion. Thank you, Jimbo, for
Sorry, Yax. I'm sorry. You will never embed us in the website again for live streams ever again. Yax is the boss.
All right. Okay. Let's move on to another topic. Is the reward pack prices? They are gonna change a little bit. So one thing is that legendaries and rares will be slightly cheaper. Of course, commons will be much cheaper, and then the limited cards are 3,000 MFL. Why did you lower legendary and rare? What's the thoughts behind that?
But the thought behind that was really due to the market dynamics, the changes of the market dynamics. We saw that the uncommon pack basically was quite significantly more valuable. So we didn't want to increase the price of the uncommon pack, which could have been a solution, but we wanted to avoid that because it would have mean like reducing the rewards for some people. So instead of reducing something, increasing one pack, we decided to reduce the others that were a bit not in a bit overpriced compared to the uncommon, and so that's why we did that, and that would mean like from season 3 for the people that want to go for a legendary or a rare pack, it's already like 10% more purchasing power basically because the reduction is by 10%. So
that's fair enough. And I think if people didn't read this bit, I think it's probably one of the most exciting bits in this sort of like pack piece is where you've mentioned about we're also planning to add more reward pack options with a 5 overall range. And you put, for example, buy a pack that guarantees a play with the overall between 75, 79 and 80, 84. Look out for these. I think people might have overlooked that. And that's, I think, massive. And I know there is a market of players community who will go for those. Crazy. Is that something, when you say you're planning, is that something planning for this season 4 reward piece, or is that season 5 you're hoping for? Any timeline?
No, I think it will be more for season 4 rewards. Not sure if it will be like right on rollover day, but that could be. But yeah, the idea is to introduce them for season 4. We need to make sure that technically speaking, operationally speaking, we can get ready to have everything. But yeah, I think that's what we want to do, and I think it's a nice addition, because at the moment there is quite a lot of variance in the pack that you can get. So like having a different range, like with less variance, can be good. People can still decide, like, okay, I want to take a gamble and have a better chance, and to buy the one with the highest the higher range. But yeah, I think it can make it a bit more less RNG and pretty interesting for the players.
I like it personally, also. But you too, Jim, like because you want to take maybe the gambling part, we leave it for the drop packs, and with the reward packs, you have a bit more control, a bit more. Because now, I was always thinking for myself, like, should I get this rare pack or all those uncommons? Because with rare, such a big 75 goalie, or like 28 again of old, or 84 rated young guys, like such a massive difference. In value. So now it's a bit more less risk.
Even with commons, you said right at the start, Matt, that is the biggest variance. You could almost fit uncommon and rare and probably a bit more into the size of sort of the common bracket. And I know one question that will probably no doubt get asked, and I've seen it been asked before. We've spoken here about an overall range. Is there any potential for in the future to have age range packs for the rewards? Is that something you ever thought about? Because if you said to people, here's a 16 to 20-year-old, bam, people will be in there like a rocket, 100%. Is that something you ever thought about?
Yeah, potentially. I think that could make sense. That's some stuff that we are thinking. Like, what is the kind of issue with that is that it's really increase the lifespan of the players, because of course if they start at 16, then they will have at least 15, 16, 17 season of playing time. So that's a long, and for us as an economical model, it changed a bit the model there. So we are considering it, but we have to understand what would be the impact, etc. So it's not something super easy.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think maybe suggestion, it does kind of go against the whole reward pack piece about always being available, but for those packs that are specific ranges, whether it be overall or possibility of age, could it be that those are limited amount because they're so unique, and that maybe then decreases the economic impact that they have because they've there's only a finite amount. Is that something maybe?
Yeah, I think there's different option to approach that, and it can be limited and pretty rare. You cannot buy a lot or something like that. I think also the price would be much higher if you're guaranteed to have a 16 to 20 years old player. I think I haven't made the calculation, but I think the price could be double or something probably compared to a normal price pack. So yeah, that's really that we need to have a deeper look at that, and always thinking about the economics there. So for the moment, it's not really something that we plan for season 4 or season 5, something like that.
Last one for packs. I have seen it been asked in the Discord. I know you did answer it, but obviously at the moment there's still reward packs out there for people to buy. And obviously, when the changes come into effect, there'll be other reward packs with the average age of that player being increased, and the retirement and all that sort of piece, and the average overall being decreased. Will there be sort of a little bit of a transition period post rollover day, or some way people can clean up those current players before those newer changed players come into effect?
Yeah, we need to really see how we will do this transition period. It's always complex to manage this transition period. There's different options here. So usually what we do is that we close the store. Then there is reward day usually it's on Thursday, and then we reopen. There is a rollover day on Monday, Tuesday, and we reopen the store at this moment so that people can purchase their players. For this season, due to the transition, we are thinking about maybe we just we don't close the store. We give we do reward days, and users can directly buy the remaining packs, and then we close the store and we re-add everything. And yeah, that could be a solution to. We could do it like this. Other solution would be just to have like the different type of pack. For example, we have like the V1 legendary common. We let them sold out, and then we add the V2. But I don't like too much this solution, because then it creates a lot of different packs, confusion for users. Where there are some V1, V2. It's kind of weird. So yeah, I think the other stuff would be just to go with as we've done previously. It's just like we close the store and then we add the packs, the new packs with the lower the shorter lifespan player, and it's just then based on luck. You will get some players, and then it's just people will be lucky or not.
Yeah, everyone's in the same boat then. So
it's
probably the fairest way to do it when you think
that's what I think. For the more I think about it, and speaking of it, also it helps sometimes the decision making process.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's move on from the packs because the IMFF has been observing competitions, and they want to engage people a bit more and make sure that everyone's actively managing their squads. So you have introduced some new rules about forfeit and energy. So if it's like 5 forfeits, you don't qualify anymore for any rewards, and players below 60%, then it also leads to forfeits. So you have to manage a bit more actively, right, to increase the competitiveness again and make it more fun and engaging. Why did you? I can of course imagine why you chose it, but why, for example, 5 forfeits or those energy rules? Were you thinking making them higher or lower, or what was the thinking behind this?
No, but really the thinking behind that was really to avoid rewarding inactive team, because I think the MFL points means new supply, and I think it's pretty precious. Like it's not something that we want to distribute for people that are not active, that are not playing the game. It's always been our mindset. We want to reward people that are active, that are playing, that are bringing value to the ecosystem, basically. So that's really the thinking behind that. And then when we looked a bit more at the threshold, we didn't want to have like something super drastic. I think it can happen that you forfeit 1, 2, 3 matches because I don't know. Like even if it can be hard to really forfeit, because with the auto substitute that we have, etc. It's really hard to do a forfeit. I think the genuine forfeit that we see are more like beginning of the season. People have registered and then they forget to set their lineup, or they don't have enough player at the entire position. They haven't really finished their transfer window or their mercato, and so that happens at the beginning. And so that's why we put like the limit of 5. After 5, you are not eligible for the reward, and that should prevent really the genuine people that just like want to play and that just forget sometimes. They would be eligible for rewards, but for the one that just like set up their team and then middle of the season, beginning of the season, stop managing their team, then that would create like they shouldn't be eligible for the rewards.
So fair. So you can forget a couple times, but 5 times, then we know for sure that you are not active. So I think that's a good number indeed. And then another thing you introduced is this minimum overall. We can call it the TTP rule, maybe. Or
the TTP rule.
The TTP rule.
He'll like that. He'll like that. Maybe.
But yeah, that's for each division league, right? You need to have a certain minimum. And Jedi's Morchogion, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, Jimbo, hard name.
Jedi.
He asked about those restrictions, like will it be announced, when will it be announced, like those minimum bar limits. Do you know already?
I think we need to communicate on that super soon. I have that in my to-do list. We've already thought about it, but usually, like, what we are trying to do is that logically it shouldn't, like, with the restriction, the minimum overall that we are having, that we are setting, any normal behavior will not be impacted, because what we do is that we look at the data of season 2, season 3 contract, and we look at we do an analyze per percentile. So we look, for example, let's say 90% of the contracts are above this number. So that's how we do it. For example, we take like 90% of the contracts are above this number, and so that gives us a rule for the minimum. And still you also have like still 5 players that don't need to match this minimum restriction. So it's still I know that there are some users that sometimes who want to fill their squad because they don't want the player to really play in the team, but they want to do that for the training and for the progression, and that's fine. But it cannot be a lot of player in your squad, so that's why we have this amount of 5 players that are not subject to the restriction.
So it's wait and see, no spoilers.
No, I don't want to, because I don't have the numbers under my eyes, and it's not final, so I prefer not to say anything. But But normally, I think if people play like have like the normal kind of player quality in their league, they shouldn't be impacted. So yeah, there should be very
maybe one situation. Of those people will know if they will be affected by it. Like, say, trust the process. He will know that he would be expected. If you're asking yourself, should I be concerned by it? Chances are no, because you probably play the game in like a normal behaviour. The teams you field are competitive. They won't be impacted by it. So it really applies to a very minute, potentially even no users when this comes out. Right, everyone could be fine. But if you one of those, I think you'd know if you would fall into that category or not.
Yeah, definitely. And with the change of the reward now, the floor per division is much higher. I think it has doubled, probably, like for almost all the. You get, by finishing last in each league, you probably earn twice as more as previously. So then it was a bit too easy to just like okay, I take a club, I set a very, very bad roster, I get the reward, then I take a new roster to get promoted. You could do just like doing this thing that could create abuses and cases that are not normal. So we wanted to prevent that.
Yeah, I think it's a good rule. But yeah, I think if you have not thought about it before, it doesn't apply to you. It's like just for these really special different cases trying to hack the system, right? And now you cannot hack the system anymore. All right, I think we covered most of that season 4 update. Jimbo, do you think? Or are there more?
I just wanted to point out, just in that active squad management and new rules piece, it's just ones for the listeners to point out. We don't really need to cover over them much, but previously with the cup drawings, it considered the top 18 players, where it now considers the top 11. I guess some circumstances where players would we term it sandbag. They'll drop the overall of their squad for the purpose of getting in a lower cup tier than they probably should have. Although depending on how far they go down, it impacts your rewards. So maybe that's the offset there. And one change that I really like that you're introducing is you're removing multi-season contracts as of season 4. And the reason you stated was because they're not being utilised to the level that you expected them to be, and brought unnecessary complexity that downgraded the experience for new users. But it's worth mentioning that if you have a player on multi-season contract now, unless it's cancelled by both parties, it will still play out, and they'll still what's the word? I can't think of the word I'm looking for now. Be honoured. That's it. The contract will still be honoured, but I think it's a good change from user perspective. Most users anyway, most players will probably have a 1-season contract on them anyway, because so much can change in those 6 weeks, even though it happens like a flash and it happens in an instant. So much can change. So I think you made a good decision with that one, that most of the community, well, I think all of them are pretty happy with. And especially with the transfer piece as well, it gets a bit confusing. If someone sells a player, they're on a 3-season contract, that player wants the person who sold it wants to honor it because it's on their own club, and it just doesn't have a good look from the outside. So I think it's better than being removed. So I like that decision.
Yeah, definitely. And also, when you buy a club that is full of contracts, if it's for 4 seasons, and that you don't know, then you kind of it's very bad first experience as a new user. So on the paper, we really like this idea of having a multi-season contract, because we were like really thinking that it can have more gameplay, more negotiation, that you can negotiate on the percentage of revenue share, on the duration of the contract, and maybe you could accept like a lower revenue share for a longer contract, or this kind of stuff, or the opposite, or something like that. But in reality, and that's what we've confirmed with data, is that it's not used a lot. It's most of the usage is for same owner, which you can cancel whenever you want, so that doesn't change much in the end. And so yeah, that was much easier. That also avoids a bit of some technical cases that we can handle, etc. So yeah, much better, I think.
Yeah, and you can still, I would say, de facto have those multi-season contracts with just auto renewal. So I have some guys, I just loan them players almost every season, and they're on auto renewal, and then at the end of the season it's like, can I keep them? And I'm like, sure, I don't change anything to auto renewal. So you have kind of a multi-season contract without having the multi-season contract. So
the good thing is that you can change it whenever you want.
Yeah, exactly. But it's more based on like agent relations and networking than literally a contract for 3-4 seasons, and which you can really abuse. Yeah, that you load a club with like crazy 4-season contracts, you sell it, and then someone was not aware of that, it kind of gets scammed in that way. So you get rid of that, which is nice.
And also now we introduced, I think it's in season 2 or season 1, I don't remember, the pre-agreement contract, which also you can use to sign player for the next season. So it also makes it easier to already plan for your next season. So yeah, that's also that went also in favor of like removing this multi-season contract.
Yes, indeed. All right. So now we can move on to some other Q&As, let's say random things with what I said. Although it's 5, so you won't be getting crazy amounts of wins. An extra one. Okay, Jim has an extra one. The first one is by Duff, who asks about a feature that has been also requested a lot, the club delegation, the team delegation. What's the status of that?
It's been a while, to be honest. It's been a while since we really worked on that. Jan has started, I think, around I think it was in late summer or September, something like that. I think he worked on that, started to kind of lay the foundation of it. But then we were like we readjusted our priorities, especially with the launch of season 1. And then season 2, season 3, like there was a lot of stuff to do around that. At the moment, we've also decided that there was some other stuff that are more with higher priority, especially so there was a player individual instruction that we released that took us quite a lot of time to do. And the next focus that we really want to have is regarding the offer, to be able to have a offer on the marketplace. We're also working currently to because we know that we have a lot of stuff to improve, and for example on the contract stuff, there's some stuff that we want to improve. So I've tested it today for the first time. The ability, like when you set the availability for the players, you will now be able to define which division you're looking for a contract, which with each minimum of rev share split by division. So you can say, I'm only looking for diamond, and if I'm in diamond, I want 5%, but if I'm in platinum, I want 7% or 10%. So you can really like go division by division. So that's we will also add the possibility to define the minimum playing game time clause in the availability. So also I think that will ease the contract negotiation, that will make it more smooth, etc. So that took us a lot of time, because it's a bit technical, but it needed a full change of the database, the way it worked. Like, so we had to design a lot of new tables, SQL table, etc. I won't enter into the details, but that was a complex topic, and that's also the topic. We also had a new developer that arrived 1 or 2 weeks ago, which is Guillaume, and so of course it takes time to onboard a new developer. Yann has to onboard him, to show him the code, to explain him a lot of stuff. So of course at the very beginning it takes more time to Yann, and he can develop less. So maybe we're producing a bit less at the beginning, but the idea is to of course that he gets fully autonomous in the next few weeks, and that he can deliver, etc. So we're super happy about that. But so to answer it was a long answer for a short question, which which is a bit maybe my specialty sometimes. but no, for the delegation, still something we want to do. Probably it won't be for S4, maybe S5, F6, something like that. But we really want this offer also we really think it's something super important to be able to offer. To send cash offers to players, so that will be that's really the next priority on which Yann will be working on.
Yeah, so it's on the list, but definitely not the highest priority. Okay, great.
Can I jump in with a question here, because you actually sort of beat me to it, Matt? Because it was just before here, I messaged in the Ballers down, said about to go live, or not live, recording with Matt for the most recent episodes. Anyone got any last minute questions? And he put, not a question on the update, but will there be a chance to ask about the new guy, Dobby, and how the team are developing? So obviously you just mentioned the new developer. It sounds promising that they're bringing more people on board. Are they looking to bring more people on soon? So before I let you answer, I guess we did a big welcome. I think it was it last Friday you announced it?
Yeah, last
Friday.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was waiting for all the general chat to be, welcome.
That was great to see.
Did you tell him, when we announce it, you will have loads of notifications going off from everyone saying like, welcome.
No, I didn't tell him on my side. I don't know what Yann told him, but maybe he was a bit surprised. But I saw that he answered, and so that was cool to see that, and super cool to see the positive of the community as usual, super welcoming. So that's super cool. And regarding the question, the idea for us for MFL is to always we want to keep the team small, and we really want to expand when it's needed for different reasons. The first reason is that I think keeping the team small, we can probably sometimes achieve more, which can seem counterintuitive, but sometimes when you start to increase the size of the team, then you have to set more process, then you have more internal meeting to take decision, etc. So it can make stuff faster, but it can also sometimes make stuff slower. And I think with the team that we have, we managed to deliver so much stuff. When I don't want to compare too much, but when I look at other projects, etc., and where they're at, they've raised a lot of money. They've hired a lot of developers, a lot of team members, etc. And we are not ashamed at all to where we are at the moment. So with a very small team and super talented people. So I think that's the spirit that I want us to keep. But definitely, I think at some point we also need to grow and to recruit more people. It's also meaning more people needs more revenue. So keeping the team small also allows us to not put too much pressure on the supply, etc. So it's always a good equilibrium that we need to find, because I'm sure if you ask the community, they would have to have more people to work on the project, to deliver much more stuff, but of course less pack drop, less supply, etc. And at some point there is an economical reality, and it's not possible. So.
And give everyone a free $2,500 as well. You know, that would help as well.
Exactly.
But no, it's great to see. I think you're totally right. I think most of us will agree it's best that you scale correctly and you do it sensibly, and we've all seen that over the last 2.5-3 years. So yeah, welcome Dobby. How many is that officially within the team now then? You do the
I think it's going to be 3 weeks, something like that, at the end of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, you arrive middle of midweek on something like that, 2 to 3 weeks.
So it's you, Yax, Lucas, Quinton, Dobby.
Yeah, and that's
5.
Yeah.
One hand.
Yeah, one hand. Yeah, one hand. Yeah.
One hand. Okay. Back to the Wen questions. Moscow, you probably already know what he's gonna ask. He started a lobby. I think Eric Barbaric is also part of this lobby, of this propaganda. They keep pushing it. And I also liked it because I had success with Poland. Jimbo doesn't like it.
Yeah, I was waiting for this, man. Every
so
week
you
on the
already
streams
know,
it gets.
The question is, when national teams, can we see them again at some point? We all love them. We love seeing caps of players, but I guess it's bottom of the list somewhere. But
it's but of course we like the idea. We think it's super cool. What is first is how do we introduce that in a season? We don't really want to cut a season or have 2 or 3 weeks in between seasons to have that. So that's the first. How do we manage to fit that in the season? How does it work, and how does it make it entertaining for everyone? Because when you don't of course the players that will be selected, even if we do a under 23 or under 21 or something like that, even if we do different categories, that won't be a lot of players selected, and so it can. I don't know if that would be entertaining for the entire community. I think there would be some people that love it, etc., but maybe not everyone. So probably I think we will keep it at the moment. It's not in a priority. Maybe when there is the World Cup, when there is a Euro or something like that, we can think about doing a side event in parallel to the season, or something really that also can allow us to create more activity, also to get more eyes on MFL, as a marketing campaign, or as a when you're doing extra events, you can manage to bring more eyes on the project, etc. So that's how we see it. But at the moment, to really have something that, for example, every 4th season there is this World Cup, etc. That could make sense, but I don't really see at the moment how to do it, and I don't think it's a priority.
Yeah. But I think when I
Sorry, Bosco.
when I talked to Bosco, it was maybe you can fill the void where there is no competition, right? At the end of the season, between the seasons, you can have and then maybe qualify for but yeah, of course, it's definitely not high on the list.
Yeah.
And when there is a World Cup or Euros, it asks for it. But yeah, okay. Bosco knows more. He can ask again.
I'm sure he will keep the.
He will keep asking.
He
won't stop. He won't stop.
Yeah.
When we ask you more questions in a couple of months' time, we've got another question from Bosco. When international teams, we'll be relentless. We love him for it, though. We love you, Bosco. And for Bosco, if you're not watching, Matt is wearing your Keto Forest hoodie, by the way. So, every time he's on a MFL sort of content, pretty sure I've seen you every time wearing it, Matt. So
I try to.
It's getting its uses, Bosco.
That's great.
I love it. To be honest, it's super comfortable. It's it's good. I have some people sometimes asking me like, what is it? What does it mean, etc. And when I explain the story, they are amazed because the story is amazing to have one of your user that creates a hoodie related to his virtual club and that send it to you and send it to people all over the world. When I tell the story, like they are like, wow, amazing. So so that's super cool. I love it.
Great. Yes. Awesome. So new question. When? No, it's not. Well, when next division could be a question, but also the name. So this is from Bastis, MFL manager, France. Maybe 2 questions. When next division and what would be the name of a next division? Do you have more info?
Maybe a riddle. A riddle we have to work out to figure out what the name is.
No, but we. So there's different options there. First thing is like, when do we need to? I think there will be a new division. That's 99% sure. What will be the name? We have some idea. I don't know if I will share it. I don't know if I should, because as soon as you like the main idea at the moment is the.
Well, if between now and Monday you don't want it, I can remove it out. So
yeah,
you basically got like 5 days to decide.
No, but the one of the top contender for the name at the moment is Spark League.
Spark. I like electric Spark League. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Spark League. Interesting.
I think it's like.
Yeah, SPARK.
Spark.
Yeah.
Spark or Sparkle, I don't remember.
That'll be
Sparkle.
Spark. It'll be Spark.
Spark, yeah, I think it's Spark.
Spark League.
Yeah, I think it's like the electricity, like the little spark that kicks the engine, that starts the engine because it's bottom. Because otherwise there would be like wood, there would be paper, there would be stuff like that. But we are not huge fan of that. So we still have to see. But for the moment, it's the top contender. I think I totally didn't sell it the right way. I should have.
Sounds. I can understand where it comes from. Like a little spark, like the lowest league with a spark.
Yeah. So, but that's one of the idea for the name. The issue with the name here is that everybody can have an opinion. Everybody will have a different opinion. Everyone will think that their opinion is better. So there's no way to have a consensus on the name for sure. But if some people have ideas of name, we are still interested, and don't hesitate to send it. But don't be pissed if your idea is not selected.
So on that, have you then thought of what the color of the license would look like? Because that's another topic as well. Because I feel like you've got
yellowish, maybe like with electricity, Pikachu kind of color.
Yes,
I was going down obviously the idea of yellow, but it's got to be yellow enough that it's not gold and gets mistaken for gold. I know people won't mistake it, but it might look like gold.
Darkish yellow, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. For the moment, we haven't really we haven't really iterate on the colors or try to think about that. But yeah, and just to add, so one thing that we probably thinking of doing is that I think there is like something like 300 ice license left that we can sell. But I think we are probably going to sell more than this 300. That's an idea of what we can do. So we don't really need to open this 9th league super soon, is because there are a lot of inactive teams that have that haven't been touched and probably will never be touched anymore. And so they are all really relegated at the moment. They all relegate down to the ice division. So probably the idea of what we could do is that kind of relegate this team or put them in an inactive pool, because we know that they won't reactivate all of them at the same time. All of the sudden they will all reactivate, and so sell a part of this inactive team as new ICE team. And then when we open the Division 9, we relegate this inactive team to Division 9, and that keeps that's pretty much the same. But what is good with that is that we don't need to open directly a new division. It's also more user friendly because the idea for the price is to keep the price, even if we open a new division, is to keep the price at the current level, so $80. Because we don't want to devaluate the asset. And let's say, imagine we say, finally we open a new division, it's $50. Then I think it will devaluate the price of ICE license, etc. So that's not something we want to do. We want to keep it at 80. So like for the people that buy new clubs, they will get 80. They will spend 80 and still be in the league. So it's also more friendly from a user point of view. So I think we like this idea, and that's probably how we are going to proceed. And the last thing it's not alpha, but it's some stuff that we're thinking about is at some point probably, but we're still in the thinking about it. It's maybe to add some continental leagues. So yeah, we will see. It's still really really early in the process in the south, but we think that at some point it's not super scalable to always have your bottom division that is twice as big as the entire league, because basically if you take the number of team in the of clubs in the last division, if you sum the teams of all the division above, you basically have the same number. So then it's 50% of your club supply that is in the bottom division all the time. So that's I don't think it's the most scalable way for like a couple thousands, like up to 5,000, probably 6,000 clubs. It's pretty fine, but at some point I think we need to have like a different mechanism, etc. And that's why we are exploring this solution of having like other pyramids that would be probably below this big pyramid that could be the World Federation or the World Competition, and to have like this continental competition that people can decide to join, etc. So still there's a lot of decision to make around that, but that's basically some stuff that we're thinking about.
That
sounds really
a huge piece
really
of
good.
Alpha. Huge piece of Alpha.
It sounds a bit, I'm a bit of a cycling nerd also. It sounds a bit like cycling of Pro Tour and then continental licenses. It's a bit like the world and then the continental.
Feels like the middle ground of Bosco's International, but we're sort of like I know a question that will get asked, so you said it's, you just bit of Alpha, not much information about it. You think about continents and all the countries within continents, people going, when can I get this country? Would that be a thing? Other countries being opened up?
Yeah, I think that will allow us to increase the number of countries, to make it more in line with probably we could imagine to have all countries, because at some point it's a bit it's a lot of work to do at the very beginning, but then when it's done, it's pretty easy. So yeah, that could be possible. What would be, of course, a bit more complex would be the player distribution, like how many. If you have all the country, like how do you decide which player from which country you mint, etc. But yeah, that's our problem. That's stuff that we need to fix.
Big bit of alpha on the pod. I love that. And just to go back to the selling more than 300 licenses, or 299, I think I checked now, licenses. I really like that, because obviously those licenses will now be, in theory, relegated, unless they've not been opened, which is a different story. But I like that on one basis, that you never bring back the Ipswich license again. The Ipswich license, there was one of them, and it's not been used since season 0.4, and I would like to keep it that way, please. I would like to keep it that way. I cannot
we will search the owner, and we will put it in Division 1 soon.
Their name. I had to look them up. Their name is like Sacred Koala, and their profile says they're from India. So if you can, get them on the line. If I ever play an Ipswich team and lose with my Norwich-based team, I might have to Or I'll start raging in the Discord. I'll start raging. But I do like that though. It's a sensible move. It's a sensible move when there's non-existent. It's sensible.
It means that we will probably meet more, and maybe there will be another Ipswich created.
The new Norwich license got packed today as well by a German chap.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bogon messaged me. I was asking if he wants to swap with my Stone club, but he quite likes the idea of having an English club. Unless I give him an offer that money can't, or an offer that he cannot resist. Pay up, I think. Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know how much do I love me Norwich. I've already got one. I don't want to monopolise the Norwich licenses.
All right. I think we have two more questions, unless Jimbo has more surprise questions coming.
I don't think there's more surprise.
Speaking about Vogon, you just mentioned Vogon alerting you. He has a question you might not have heard in a long time, but that keeps haunting you in your nightmares, which is, what is a secret project?
What is the secret project? But it's Alpha Podcast, no?
Yeah, it's a big. I don't know if you want to drop this. It's already so much alpha, so.
Yeah. No, but I think we can say it because at some point. We can say the little secret. No, but so to re-explain a bit more about regarding the secret project, kind of, it was
it's happening.
It kind of became a meme inside the community,
yes.
And I think we are responsible for it. We started it a bit. I think it started in I would say September 2023, something like that, and that's when we started to work on that. And so it was something that we were exploring. So but we didn't we want to explore without really telling it, etc. So, and Jan had the excellent idea of in the dev update to talk about it and to name it the secret project, like thinking that maybe he wouldn't have too much attention, etc. So of course, because it was secret, it got a lot of attention, etc. And so finally we had an intern that was exploring that started to work on that. We did really good progress, etc. But then we had a lot of other priorities that came, and so we shifted priority there. And so since then we haven't really moved. I think for probably 1 month, 1 year, something like that, we haven't really touched it. But that's probably something that we would like to re-explore and to retouch. And so I am about to reveal it.
The build-up is great. I like the build-up.
The build-up. I hope people won't be disappointed, but no. But basically, the idea was to have like a player that are at the moment. The player they are kind of cartoonish. They are generated with pen and paper, basically, but in a cartoon way. And we think it would like change the aspect of the project, like really change the dynamic, make it more impactful to have like kind of real players generated by AI and that they are really photorealistic. So basically, like instead of having a cartoonish player, you have a kind of a real player that doesn't exist, of course, but that you can really relate to and have like look like a real person. So that's the project that we worked on for around 6 months. That's what we call the secret project. And but yeah, so now it's not secret anymore.
No, it's not.
It will be on the news everywhere. I think New York Times is going to have
paying for the billboard.
Yeah.
A countdown until the pod is released with the secret project.
Whoa.
Big reveal. Mathurin reveals all about the secret project.
Yeah. and so yeah, that's would be interesting to get the community feedback around that. I know it can be for us. We really think it's a good decision, and I'm sure we were going to do it because I think it can really bring the project into a new dimension. I've already, like the look and feel of the project, the first touch that you have with the project can make it like can be much more professional with real player. It can really, I think, change that, and that's already some feedback that I have had from users that don't play it. They are like, when they just have the first look, it doesn't look it, because of the players that are a bit cartoonish. It can remind them like a kind of a childish game sometimes, etc., which is totally not. Like there's money involved, it's super hard, super competitive, etc. So sometimes I don't think it really brings the real value of MFL. So that's why I think that could be a great change, and it's also a lot of work because it means like we need to recreate like 70,000, like more 80,000, probably like close to. So yeah, that's a lot of players that we need to generate, but challenging and interesting project, I think.
Yeah, I'm so curious about reactions. Obviously, maybe people listening expected me and Jimbo to react more crazy, but maybe we can tell that we already knew this also for more than I don't know how long. This was kind of the
more impressive.
Project.
It's been like a year and a half.
Yeah,
that we've known and we've been asked, and we've gone, wonder what it could be.
We were always like, we also don't know what the secret project is.
I'm interested what the community will say though, because I know that some, I think it'll be quite split maybe.
Yeah,
because
so.
some really like the current artwork. It's unique. You see that card, it's unique. You know, if you look at our profile pictures on wherever we are, they go, they play MFL
unique style, yeah.
But then you see a lot of users on, say, like social media, when they're posting about their clubs, will try and generate their players or their MFL players through AI to make them realistic. There was the Tifus of the other day where Eric and someone else, the massive banners that they'd made, into sort of like maybe I can't remember they're still cartoonish or not, but that sort of piece where people are definitely generating them. So I mean, there was a bit of a kick when you removed the cards from the lineups, and now it's just the players because of people with their mohawk. So, but it's an exciting one. It's an interesting one, and I think it will spark a lot of debate.
Yeah, I can't wait for that debate. Well, we can still edit it out also.
You got 5 days.
That's the power of editing. Yeah, you have some days to change your mind. My last question, but I think we've already had now so many surprises and changes and things we heard. But my last one was like, are there any more changes or surprises coming before season 4 kicks off? I can't imagine, but maybe.
I mean, we still have stuff that we are working on the background that we don't communicate on, but no, it's. There's no
season 4
surprise, right? not for season 4, and so yeah.
So you don't feel like dropping a rare pack into mine and Calver's inventory? Just drop one in, that'd be quite nice. No surprise.
Yeah, to like a little surprise.
Or let Calver and I start distributing MFL when we want for the streams. Yeah, make that life easier.
Secret project.
Yeah. We can be small banks of MFL. Yeah. You're a central bank, and we can be
we can start a WenDirk bank, and we can give those loans. And
that's always the case with people. They start to be greedy, and now they ask more privilege. Yeah.
We start talking about MFL debt. We'll be the debt collectors. Knock. Yeah. You own this club.
Are there raw earth minerals we can demand? Okay, let's stop that discussion. I think it's a hashtag o'clock.
Right, folks, ladies and gentlemen, what an episode has been. Plenty of information to digest there, especially towards the end. And we're going to reveal the hashtag now. So for those of you who've got this far, we love doing the hashtag because we see so many of you post it on Twitter, X, Discord especially. For this week's hashtag secret is out. Hashtag secret is out. And the second you hear this, I want you on that Discord straight away. No context. Hashtag secret is out. Make everyone FOMO. What? What's going on? What's going on? Listen to the pod. And then they'll start listening to the podcast. Before we do blow that full-time whistle and wrap episode 79, sorry, we have to say a massive thank you to Mathurin for coming on the pod, providing the insights, being transparent as ever with MFL and so his team, especially with these big changes. Very, very transparent. Very transparent. So I want to say a massive thank you to you, Matt. Thank you for being on the podcast. You've been great. You've been great today. Thank you.
No, but thanks to you guys. I say it all the time, but I'm amazed to see like the consistency, the regularity that you have in the content. That like I think it's almost 2 years, 1 year and a half that you're doing like every week an episode, and it's just amazing for us as founder, as a team member to see people talking with so much passion about the project. I really love to hear your voice. I'm trying to listen it to almost every week. I'm 1 week late. I think the last one with Orange Fly, was it?
Yeah.
That I haven't listened yet, but yeah, I really like it. Also, like when you're having some invitees, like people coming on the pod, it's just awesome. So thank you for that.
Thanks.
And it's really appreciated.
Thank you. So we will wrap things up there, folks. I want to say a massive thank you to you listening so far. Remember, #secret is out. Get it plastered everywhere. Without further ado, thank you all so very much for listening, and we'll catch you this time next week for an episode of the WenDirk Cast. Thank you for listening.